Hey, it's Jay's Parents, Rights, and Resources, hashtag how I got custody. Click the link in my bio if this is Instagram or TikTok. Click the link in the description to find my flow page, which has all of my links in one. If you don't believe that I won in court without an attorney, some of my winning orders are there, including wins in the Court of Appeals against an attorney with 50 years experience by the time he retired. And my final parenting plan showing I got full custody, winning contempt the first time I tried. Bunch of you folks out there are too scared to even attempt a contempt. Somebody violates your court order and you go and listen to a device of a stupid attorney or your friend who lost contempt in court, and you don't even try it, and it's the only recourse you got. My winning contempt on my first try is there. I face a 17-year experienced attorney and the guardian litem, who was basically another attorney for the mother. There's actually attorneys online. There's one actually, he's from LA. I forget his name, Dad's Rights Attorney or something like that. He actually did a video post saying you really shouldn't bother with contempt because you'll never get that time back that you missed and stuff, which is bullcrap. Makeup time is usually an automatic on contempt in most states. So the guy is lying to you. You know, he says don't ever do contempt. It's only good if it deals with money and you can get your money back. Well, who does contempt for money issues? It's usually the wife, ex-wife, or the mother doing it to get the dad, to get, back child support, back alimony. So why would a father's rights guy say don't do that unless you have a financial issue? What a total sellout. That's like some house slave level stuff. Like, he's there for men, and he tells men not to use the only recourse you have when somebody commits contempt, a contempt motion to get makeup. So I got it the first time. I helped the guy. One time this guy called me in Georgia. He hadn't seen his kid in a few months, and he called me like a day or two before his hearing. He wanted to talk to me in the middle of the night, and we talked, and he destroyed the mother and her attorney in court. He was every other weekend, so he got every weekend straight for makeup time for like 3 months. And then the judge warned her, sorry about the adjustment here, the judge warned her that if you don't go and settle some of the disputes about your parenting plan with him, I'm going to throw you in jail for 17 or 21 days. I think it was 21 days. And then she didn't get her attorney fees. He totally destroyed them. He offered to work it out the night before, and they said no. So they got destroyed. That's what happens on contempt. That's why I'm different. That's why I'm about the only father's rights advocate left in this country, because I'm the only one who talks like this, walks like this. I lived it myself. I prevailed myself, and I won over and over again myself. So why wouldn't you listen to me? There's some reasons out there people wouldn't listen to me. Some people are too stupid to look at the proof that I got available for you to look at to verify I know what I'm talking about. You'll trust an attorney who does not tell you the years of experience they have. Like 100% of the people I ever ask, how long has your attorney been practicing law? I don't know. How many times have they helped get a dad 50-50 or full custody? I don't know. I didn't ask. Listen, if you have somebody doing a transmission overhaul in your vehicle and you find out that's his first attempt at doing it, or that new shop, that tranny shop just opened up, or you need a heart surgery done, wouldn't you find out how much experience that doctor has doing surgeries? Of course you would. But for some reason, my gender turns into a bunch of numbnuts, and you won't ask the person you're paying $400 an hour, hey, have you done this before? How many times has it worked? How many times has this strategy worked? Oh, lay down, don't attack the mother, don't get aggressive, don't get on the offensive, sit down, shut up, be quiet, stop asking me questions. I know I'm your legal advisor and I'm your advocate who zealously advocates for your best interests and your welfare and your relationship with your kid. Just shut up, sit down, and just trust me. And then I come on here and show people my winning court orders, Now, you do have to take a mouse and go and click that link and then exert some effort and do that scrolling thing until you come to the section that says James is winning court orders. And then once again, you do have to make one more click to look at my parenting plan or my winning contempt or my winning court of appeals. You know, I got a transcript of a hearing where a judge called the short period of time I did have an attorney. When we went back to court later on, this attorney let me write all my paperwork and prepare everything for court. He was just my mouthpiece because I was worried about going to trial. Now I know I could do my own trial like the back of my hand. I've had hundreds of clients put on their own trial and get complimented by judges. But you will have to make some effort and actually look. So if you're one of those ones who just want a quickie answer and want someone to wave a magic wand or for mommy to come and fix it like she did when you had an owie when you were a baby growing up, that's not how this works. You have to put some effort into it. I'm not here to save your case. I'm here to share things that worked for me and worked for thousands and thousands of other people. I stopped counting at 300 the number of dads I helped get full custody without a lawyer. Thousands more got 50-50 or did better or maintained what they had. Even for what I know a guy who went, he had every other weekend. The mother was trying to take that away from him because the child didn't want to go with him anymore after a bunch of radical feminist man-hating alienation. So they tried to take time away, make him pay for her attorney fees. They did a 4-day trial. All he was doing is just trying to maintain his schedule. He was so busy that all he had time for was the every other weekend and the midweek visit. He kept everything. They didn't change it. And then she didn't get her attorney fees. She owes that attorney like $10,000, $15,000. So there's proof that I know what the heck I'm talking about. All these fathers' rights groups, non-parental rights groups, every single one I've ever seen or heard of has come and gone. Now there's new recent ones. There's supposedly the fathers' rights advocates out there are the fathers' rights movement, which is filled with a bunch of losers who lost over and over again in court. And you guys are listening to advice from other people on those pages that have lost. That's stupid. When I go on a fathers' rights movement page and I'm looking at the questions and the input and stuff, and I might jump in and say, no, that's not the way to do that. One time in Idaho, they had one on there. This is the losers that you guys are following and paying attention to. Instead of somebody like me who won, my daughter's in her 20s now. I've had custody of her whole life, but you don't want to listen to me, right? Because you don't like my tone of voice saying everything else everybody else is doing is stupid. You know, I'm kind of like the ostracized naturopaths or something. Or they say, hey, if we stop getting off processed foods and eating all this junk food, we can alleviate 90% of all our health ills in the country and eat real food that God made to come from the ground and stuff. And people have all kinds of stories of their health changing because of that, but they get ostracized because they're not mainstream, because everybody like a dumbed down, brainless zombie sheep does whatever the commercials tell them to do. Take this pill and that pill, even though they got 25 side effects. You know, you take a pill for diabetes, may cause internal bleeding, brain hemorrhaging, ulcers, death and all this other stuff. And then you'll just take it. Here I am saying this is what has worked. Here's a bunch of testimonies. I just posted a testimony on Instagram. You can see testimonies on my Instagram under the hashtag HIGC testimony. Just go on there and look. I got messages and DMs and text messages of different people. You know, I block out their names and stuff, or most of their names, so you can see I'm not doctoring that there's really somebody or really a phone number. You know, I guess if I was a fancy graphic arts designer, you could still argue that I'm faking it, but either believe the evidence or you don't. But this fathers' rights group in Idaho, there was a guy on there, and he said, hey, man, I'm afraid to send my daughter back to the mom. Her boyfriend's molested my daughter, I believe. This stupid jackass, subhuman piece of garbage from the fathers' rights movement got on there and said, you better give your kid back, you'll get in trouble. I got on there and said, how can you get in trouble? And even if you got in trouble, I'll go to jail if it's to protect my daughter from being molested. Sellout, subhuman piece of shit. This stupid jackass says, well, it's a crime in Idaho to withhold the child from the other parent. I said, where's the law? That's the immediate question that you would ask if you are exercising some brain cells, which most dads are not doing. When you deal with the cops, a judge, a lawyer, a clerk at the courthouse, somebody tells you can't do something. Most of you go, oh, okay, I'm sorry for asking. And you move on. And say, okay, where's the law on that? What's the legal authority? Where do you get that from? So I asked the guy, where do you get that from? It took him like 20, 30 minutes to come back. And then he posted a link to the law. And he goes, there you go, see? I went into it and I actually read it. He probably didn't plan on me doing this, but I actually read the law that he posted. And it was only like a paragraph long. There was a sentence, and then there was like 4 sections of 1 sentence long each. And it did say, if you withhold a child from another parent in violation of a court order, that's a gross misdemeanor or something in Idaho. And then it says, here's the qualifications. And then they say, the exception is if you're doing it to protect the child's safety. So this stupid, dumbed down, low IQ, moronic, airheaded piece of shit told this guy, you better give your kids over, you better give your daughter over to a child molester, because this buffoonic, moronic, airheaded, subhuman sellout that's just as bad as a house slave, I don't know, whatever the worst name for a sellout that you could think of, that's what this guy was on the Father's Rights Movement page in Idaho. The guy didn't even read the law that he cited to me, the reason why he needs to give the kid back, because there's an exception in it. That's how stupid these idiots are, and that's why they've lost in court, because there's a bunch of numbnut idiot dads who are losing in court who walk into court and say, oh, I just thought the court system would do it for me and work for me. You ever seen a movie before in your life that had the depiction of a trial or a legal situation? Are you ever seen any kind of live broadcast like the Johnny Depp trial or the OJ trial? Those lawyers don't walk into court and sit there without doing any legal research or preparation, you stupid, hypocritical, airheaded idiot. You don't just get to walk into court. Like, if you are qualified for a job, when you go into a job interview, do you just sit there and not say a word? Or do you sell them on your ability to qualify for that job? You have to speak up. You have to study. You have to prepare. You have to know that employer a little bit. You have to know your qualifications and sell it. You don't just get to sit there silent, you stupid numbnuts, dumbass. And you don't just get to sit there and they'll just, by mental telepathy, they'll say, oh, you must be qualified. Same thing, if you go to family court and you're falsely accused of being a bad father, you don't just get to sit there and say, oh, well, they know I'm not a bad father. They'll figure it out. I was talking to a guy the other day and he kept saying, well, the judge knows this. And, the judge rules against me, but he knew that this is what... How did he know that? You go to court to make a persuasive oral argument. You have to persuade the person. You're talking to a total stranger. How do they know anything about your life? You can't guarantee they know the law fully. There's innocent people in jail right now because they didn't put on a good show in court to defend themselves. So anyway, these are the numbnuts, the lead attorney, sellout, house slave, up there talking about father's rights issues, but bragging that he destroyed men in court and he helped real shitty mothers get full custody. He said on a show on a podcast with Pearl from Pearly Things, I represented so many shitty mothers and they still got custody. You're the one who got them custody. You're complaining about the system. You are the system. Then there's this guy, Dad Talk Today, this stupid, I forget his name, Hispanic dude, this stupid sellout piece of crap. All he cares about is likes and follows and followers and popularity. He's a charlatan just getting up there talking about why the system sucks. Typical dumbass dad who probably lost in court and is whining, crying about the system. I DM him. I say, hey, man, how come you don't have like winners on or people telling people solutions on how to argue and win? You're just feeding into the hopelessness. At least have some stories about testimonies about guys winning. He blocked me. That's all I said. Why don't you have some winners on there and talk about solutions? He doesn't want that because that wouldn't make him popular anymore. So the thing that may help change things among the other things that I've talked about that will change the system that no punk-ass bitch father's rights group wants to do is having a group of people be watchdogs and go into courtrooms and observe court hearings. Everybody have like a pin saying father's rights and non-custodial parents' rights or something, and sit and watch a trial and publicly report on them and get these people knowing that there's a watchdog group out there. The next trial you sit on, you start influencing the judge to make a good decision. Now, that's a real short answer. I know it took a while to get here, but it is what it is. But nobody's going to do that Nobody's going to put pressure on these judges because you guys are all scared.